Disrespecting the flag when you kneel, then there'll be more reasons to protest. It's not about the flag or the national anthem. It's not disrespectful. You can't disrespect an inanimate object anyway, or an abstract object. You can disrespect human beings. It's human beings that are the ones that'll get angry or have their feelings hurt, not the flag. If you're only worried about disrespecting the flag, the flag will be fine. It's human beings that are the problem, not the flag. Ignorant and stupidity. Ignorance and stupidity. That's the real problem. So, we're going to pause for station identification. We'll be right back right after this. We have some sporting news to get to, but before I get to that, I just want to say, in other news, and this is just my opinion, this is not story that the media is pushing. This guy, Louis Dedoy, I think his name is Dedoy. Anyway, this guy was just appointed the head of the post office nationally by the president. Louis Dedoy, I think his name is pronounced. He was another donor of the president's, and he doesn't know anything about running the post office, but for some reason the president put him in charge of the post office nationally. And this is just another one of those cases to where someone donates money to the president's campaign or his inauguration or some function that the president is having that costs money. Some private citizen, businessman, wealthy businessman. And this guy, Louis Dedoy, is, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I don't want to get the guy's name wrong, even though, because I'm saying something about him that's almost important. But anyway, this guy is invested in UPS and also has investments in XPO Logistics. And now he's the head of the post office, which is sort of a conflict of interest because UPS and XPO Logistics, they are shipping companies, but they are private shipping companies, major shipping companies. And Louis Dedoy is he's invested in these companies and really he didn't run the companies though, mind you. He just invested in them, meaning he put money into them to try to get money back, to try to make money off of them, their profits. So, but now he's in charge. He was put in charge of the post office by the president, and there's been a lot of complaints since he's been in charge that the mail is running a lot slower. Now, the president said the mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster, which most of the opinions that I have seen in the media, on TV, or stuff that I've read online is saying that that's nonsense. There's no reason that mailing ballots in should cause a problem at all, except for maybe the volume of ballots that the post office has to deliver, which they should be prepared for it because they know it's coming. It's August now, the 10th, and they know it's coming. The post office knows it's coming. We're talking about it now. Absentee ballots, as well as mail-in ballots, which are pretty much the same thing except for the name of it. You're going to cast a ballot and send it back in the mail, and it usually comes 2 weeks ahead of time. If you request, I think last time I said it came a few days ahead of time, but actually it comes a couple of weeks ahead of time. So you got plenty of time to cast that ballot and get it back into the mail. You should do it as soon as possible for those of you who are going to use the mail-in balloting system. I don't know if I'm going to or not. I think I might, actually. But if you're going to use the mail-in balloting system, do it as soon as possible. Don't delay on that thing, because you gotta get that vote back to Board of Elections in your county so it can be counted on November 3rd. And that's the only real issue with it. I think that Louis DeDoy is trying to cause a problem with the post office so that President Trump can be right about saying, the mail-in ballot is going to be a disaster. I think Louis DeDoy is trying to sabotage. Now, I might be wrong, but he's President Trump's boy. He donated $1 million to the campaign, and now he's been put in charge of something he has absolutely no business being in charge of. Like a lot of President Trump's, I don't want to say lackeys, staff members. A lot of President Trump's staff members have no business having those positions, but the fact is that the president seems to choose people who are more loyal than knowledgeable. They're loyal to him. They don't need to have any experience in doing anything except for have some money to donate. If you donate millions of dollars to the campaign or his inauguration, his inauguration is over, so you can't donate money to that. But you can donate money to his campaign. So if you got over $1 million and you want to get a position that you're not qualified for, like what was the one who was ambassador? I think it was the ambassador to England. What was his name? Anyway, the guy who testified in the hearings on for Congress during the impeachment. That guy's been fired actually now, but I can't think of his name. But he donated over $1 million to President Trump. So, but anyway, Louis DeDoy, I'm pretty sure is his name. So keep your ears open for that name. The guy's in charge of the post office. has no experience running the post office or any other office. He is a rich guy, though. And he's been appointed to head the postal service nationally. So we'll keep an eye on Louis DeDoy. And I got a feeling that this is gonna be a disaster. Not the mail-in balloting, but the fact that Louis DeDoy is the head, man. And this is almost as bad as Betsy DeVos, being a superintendent over schools, education. She has no idea what she's doing and making a bunch of bad decisions. Basically, she could care less. But this is this because we're coming up on an election. This postal thing is going to turn out bad. But those of you who are going to do mail-in balloting or absentee balloting, you gotta request your ballots a month ahead of time. So request a ballot so they can get it to you. You can get it filled out and get it back in the mail. All right, we're going to go to a break. We'll be right back, so don't go away.
And now, without further ado, the man we've all been waiting for, T-Jam D. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. I'm still your host, the man you've all been waiting for. One other thing, politically speaking, before I move on, and that is this. Today at the White House, the president had a press conference. It was a coronavirus press conference. And apparently somebody outside of the White House was shot by the cops. That's not funny. That is not funny at all. It's just, I'm getting way too used to saying somebody was shot by the cops. I don't have the details. They did not report a lot of details about this shooting, but President Trump was in the middle of his speech about coronavirus, and they ushered him off stage, and then they let him know that they had to take him to the Oval Office. And he was there for 8 minutes, and then they brought him back. I guess they secured the grounds and that everything was fine. But apparently, some idiot outside the White House got into it with the cops and got shot. Again, this is not funny, but I'm only laughing because what moron would... you're outside of the White House of all places, and why on earth would you do whatever it is you're doing out there to cause the cops to shoot you outside of the White House? You get the cops are going to have itchy trigger fingers. Some police officers have itchy trigger fingers, period, but most of them don't. I'm guessing most of them are pretty cool and they, assess the situation. But you're outside the White House,